Irish Airman Precedes His Death by William Butler Yeats. I know that I shall meet my fate somewhere among the clouds above. Those that I fight, I do not hate. Those that I guard, I do not love. My country is his hardened cross. My countrymen his hardened poor. No likely end could bring them loss, or leave them happier than before. Nor law, nor duty bade me fight, nor public men, nor cheering crowd. A lonely impulse of the life drove to this tumult in the clouds. I balanced all, brought all to mind, the years to come in waves of breath. I waves of breath, the years behind, in balance with this life, this death. Before the analysis of the poem by William Butler Yeats, I'm gonna give you the first, a little background of the poem since I've researched about this. The title of the poem is An Irish Airman Precedes His Death. The airman in the title is a real airman, a flyer or a pilot. The pilot in the poem served in the Royal Air Force during the First World War. These were the years when the Irish people were engaged in a bitter struggle for independence from England. And according to what I've read, William Butler Yeats wrote this poem for the person named Major Robert Gregory, who was his friend. This is a eulogy for his friend who died for serving his country, the British military. Well, this is the analysis of the poem. We have already recognized the person of the persona of the poem, who is of course a pilot fighting during a war. And the dramatic situation also helps us to understand the poem really well. Okay, so the first line, the persona or the pilot knows what lies ahead in the future, meaning he knows what will happen to him since he is a pilot. The poem, as we read the poem, we will eventually know what is that fate the persona is referring to. It is easy for us to think that he will die because he was a pilot flying a warship. And the second line is somewhere among the clouds above. In this line, I can picture here a man who is looking at the skies. Of course, not merely looking at the skies, but there is something he is deeply thinking of. And in the third and fourth line, it's like he's not fighting for his countrymen, but he's not fighting because he hates their enemies. Meaning, there is something more important that prompts the pilot to fly, fight, and risk his life. A reason that is more important for him than serving his country is fighting for his countrymen. The fifth and sixth line, the tone here in this line is like simply or plainly stating that the persona lives in a certain cross and that his countrymen were poor. For me, there is nothing more than with saying this line, because this line is just correlates with the previous line. The 7 and 8 line, the pilot is saying that even if he fights for the people, even if he risks his life in fighting with the country, it would do nothing to those poor people. It will not make them happy as well as the persona. Fighting for his country will not give him happiness. And the next two lines support that idea. In 9th and 10th lines, in these two lines, the pilot is saying that nobody can make him really happy because he is not aiming for fame or recognition. And in 11th and 12th line, now these lines reveal the true reason why the pilot accepted his death. Because he feels the light in the sky, he flies and fights for one reason only. It's the joy of flying. In the last four lines, it shows the persona's clear acceptance of his future, because it is said in this line that the poem that the persona balances all. He chooses from life and death, and for him to die for your aim is much satisfying, and for him to die for the joy of his heart is more satisfying than to die for something else. I noticed that William Butler Yeats does not portray the general as a heroic character. Maybe because the real Major Robert Gregory has that same passion. And I think the message of the poem is that it is a waste of time to live in the past as well as to live always for what might be the future. The present is much more important, and I think in that same situation, like the pilot who accepted that anytime he may die, we may think of the things that brings us true happiness. And of course, in reality, and especially at that moment before death, all that matters is the present, and that is only, and that is the only moment when we could truly realize the things that matter to us.